Julia, you act kind of disappointed. What were you expecting to see out there?
Oh, nothing, I guess. But things look so much the same as they did yesterday.
So, what's so bad about that? I like everything out there to stay the same. That means predictability. It means all is under control. It means Rome is happy and I get to keep my job. Besides, why should it be any different?
Oh, well, no reason really. It's just that it's the morning of the third day after we crucified him.
Oh, so you've heard rumors of a so-called resurrection too, have you? Well, don't hold your breath. That guy was a fairly decent fellow, but he wasn't God. The people who started those rumors were doubtlessly planning to steal his body and make some big tumult over it. I prevented that by some well-placed guards. There'll be no resurrections while I'm governor.
But what if it did happen?
It won't.
But what if it did?
Oh, what if? While we're at it, what if the sky opened up and gold and silver started raining down on Jerusalem? We'd certainly need to raise taxes. Or what if we suddenly discovered that drinking from the Jordan River would make us young again? Wouldn't that be sweet revenge against all those people who laughed at us when we were assigned to this disaster area? We could put up large gates and let only those that we want to come in. Or what if we found out that the Jews have been right not to eat pork because it poisons our system and makes us die sooner? What then? Well, we would all die off and the Jews would take over the world. What if? What if Jesus did rise from the grave? Well, I doubt he'd want me to continue on as governor. Apart from that, reality would be up for grabs.
Oh, you're such a cynic.
Well, it has served me well to be a cynic, and so a cynic I will continue to be.
Well, not me. I may not know what to believe, but I would rather believe something than nothing.
Well, then believe what you can see. Believe that it is better to have money and to buy nice things than to be deprived of them. Believe that pleasing Rome makes for a better life. Believe that staying away from religious fanatics helps keep you out of dangerous arguments.
But those beliefs are just more cynicism. What about the truth?
Truth? Truth. You and that Galilean would have had a lot to talk about. He spoke of truth too. For this I came into the world to testify to the truth. And I'll tell you what I told him. What is truth? One man's truth is another man's lie. The Gnostics say that the truth is that the physical is bad and the spiritual is good, and only a few know its secrets. The hedonists say that the physical pleasure is good and everyone can find it. Who's right? The Pharisees say the law is truth, while this Jesus put himself above the law and said he was the truth. Who's right? I sure don't know. But with so many versions of the truth, I sure wouldn't die for it like that Galilean.
Yeah, but he was innocent. I saw it in my dream.
He was a fool. Did you see that in your dream too?
Oh, I should have known you wouldn't have understood. But when you see a man in your dreams, a man that you've never really met, and you're convinced, as sure as you're alive, that the man is innocent and pure, that has to mean something. He said he was going to rise from the dead. Well, I've never believed in such a thing before. But then again, I guess I used to believe like you. Life, with all of its cruelty and impersonal striving, is all that there is. When it's over, it's over. But it's such a hollow belief. Maybe I believed it because you believed it, and you're my husband. But now I want to expand my beliefs. I want to believe that the side with the most swords isn't always going to win. And I want to believe that someone can stand up against men whose egos are so much bigger than their hearts, and that maybe Jesus' words won't be buried with him in that grave. I want to believe that people who hold the power of death don't always win over those with the power to bring life. I don't think it's so terrible to want to believe such things.
Well, go on, believe whatever you want.
But you said he claimed to have the truth. Well, then maybe all truths aren't on equal ground, with no way of choosing between them all. If Jesus remains dead, then he most certainly wasn't the truth. But if he comes back to life again, then the horizons of this world are going to be expanded far beyond what we see. Then we'll live in a world of infinite possibilities. Then we won't have to drift along in all this confusion about all those claims that those people you mentioned say. Maybe, just maybe, we could actually find the answers. If Jesus claims his God is going to bring him back to life, and his God does, then that Jesus is indeed the one who I'll look to for the truth.
Fine. Then when he doesn't rise, maybe I won't have to hear any more about your crazy dreams.
Oh, sometimes I can't see you ever believing, even if he does raise from the dead. It's just not in you, but it is in me. I have a hunger inside of me that somehow I know will be filled. Wait a minute. There's a commotion down there. I see some Galileans, and they look really excited about something. Could it be? I'm going to go find out.
Julia. Julia. Ha! She wastes so much time chasing what she'll never find. It's fortunate that I'm so much more practical. I never reach for anything except that what is right there in front of me.
So what do you have faith in? You need a lot of faith in your doctors if you have a heart cath procedure. In my work at Mayo, I've seen a couple. What they do is they open up one of the biggest arteries in your heart and stick a scope in it. And then after they get all done, they have to make sure that that doesn't come bursting open. So they have to have somebody to put pressure on it for about 2 hours. You have to trust that whoever is holding on to that will keep holding. It tests your faith. I remember doing the same thing in youth group. Those tests that we did where you stand in a group and then one of you just falls backwards when other people have hands there. You have to trust that the other people behind you are going to actually catch you and not let you fall on your rear end. And there's rock climbing. I remember doing that. I remember being on what they call a high ropes course where you have wires that are set up about 20 or 30 feet above the ground and you had to go from one to another. So how do we increase our faith? Are we like Pilate, secure in our own faith, knowing what we believe and what we can see and feel and hear? Or do we have something a little more? How can we increase our faith in this church? How can we trust even more than we have been? Are our dreams too small? What are the right dreams for this church? Our God is good. Our dreams about what God can do can always be bigger. But from what we know about Pilate, he had all the wrong dreams. His dream was the power and glory of his position and not much more. His idea of success was to be a cog in the grinding wheel of the Roman Empire. But sometimes wheels are made with cogs that you can easily replace, those teeth that you can replace when they wear out. And the Roman Empire was a wheel like that. Pilate had had a couple of run-ins where he'd gotten caught between the empire and the Jews. That much history tells us. So Pilate was willing to allow Jesus to be put to death. If Pilate didn't keep the peace, he was finished. Pilate believed in no one but himself. He trusted in no one but himself. He had faith in no one but himself. And that faith was tested again and again as he squeaked through one crisis after another. The playlist says, and I believe it's an honest portrayal, that he didn't even have faith in his wife. It must have been a sad marriage. From all his appearances in Scripture, Pilate was open to no one, at least until he met Jesus. Jesus confronted him about his lifestyle, and for a brief moment, just a tiny bit of time, Pilate was open. He didn't want Jesus to be put to death. In some strange way, he actually admired Jesus. Maybe he realized that Jesus had something good, something that Pilate himself had lost a long time ago. The way he was portrayed in Scripture, the way Mark portrayed him tonight, it's easy to imagine that Pilate ended his life eventually a sad and bitter man. Even more bitter, perhaps, than the Gospels portray him. Pilate's wife Julia was different, at least the way the playlet portrays her. And I believe the way the playlet portrayed her could well have been true. She had a dream about Jesus which troubled her. That much the Gospels say. She believed in the dream. Matthew says that she acted on the dream. She took the trouble to contact Pilate about it. Now, she must have had at least something of herself open to God. Otherwise, I believe that God couldn't have gotten in through the back door of her subconscious. But even so, not many people will act on their dreams. Most of us who have a dream will shake it off as unimportant, as a figment of their imaginations. Whatever else you can say about Pilate's wife, she had faith in something beyond herself. She believed her dream had meaning, a meaning that came from far beyond herself, to her. One wonders what would have happened if Pilate had heeded his wife and spared Jesus. Probably Jesus would have died anyway. But Pilate's life might have ended differently. What do we believe in? Family? Friends? Or do we believe only in death and taxes like Pilate did? Or like Pilate's wife, are we willing to believe in something beyond ourselves? That something, or rather someone, puts some order into the universe. That somehow that someone reaches into our lives to touch us in our hearts, heads, and yes, even in our dreams. People around here are not cynical like Pilate, or are we? If I took account tonight, how many people believe this church will be here 30 or 40 or 50 years from now? And if there are any who don't believe that this church will be here, I believe it's because this church needs a clear vision of what it wants to be, what it wants to do for its members and for others, and how to go about doing it. Like much of northeastern Minnesota, this church and Deerwood are still reeling from the decline of the mining industry, from the decline, at least around here, the fishing industry, from long ago, that lasts even to the present. Perhaps some people are still mourning the way this church was 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But times have changed. What does a successful, God-fearing congregation look like in the year 2016? In tonight's gospel, like Pilate, Jesus asks us, what do you have faith in? What are your dreams? Are we content to let this church and ourselves wander aimlessly through the second decade of the 21st century? Do we believe, like Pilate, in only the things that we can see and feel and hear? Or do we believe that there's something more to life? Do we believe in things like Julia believed? Do we believe that we are co-creators with God of great good? No matter how our lives are, no matter how crazy this American life can be right now, these days? Can we be less like Pilate and more like Julia? Can we think and pray and make this church even better than it was in the past and even better than it is right now? Let's pray for God's guidance. Let's pray for God's wisdom. Let's pray for God's Spirit to inspire us and guide us on into the future.